The city woke with a hunger that morning, an electric pulse of ambition slithering through steel towers, polished plazas, and glass walls that held more secrets than reflections. Executives moved like a river of power, their clipped footsteps echoing with purpose. And in the middle of that current stood a little girl in a soft pink dress, clutching a small toy rabbit whose seams were almost worn through. Her name was Sophie, 6 years old, quiet, gentle, and far too observant for the world she lived in. To everyone else, she was invisible. To fate, she was everything. Her mother, Clara, was a corporate translator, a woman who balanced grief, motherhood, and the crushing weight of bills with quiet dignity. She worked for the city's most untouchable business titan, Mr. Ling, a self-made millionaire whose empire stretched far beyond the skyline. That morning should have been nothing more than a brief stop at the office, a formality, a signature, a routine, but destiny does not knock. It whispers. Sophie heard a whisper, the wrong whisper, from the wrong men. 3 guards in crisp uniforms. A sleek black car waiting by the curb. A ticking silence wrapped beneath their murmured Chinese words. Words Sophie should not have understood, but did. A bomb. A bridge. He won't make it. Her little fingers shook around her toy. Her breath turned thin. She could have stayed silent. She could have walked away. She could have let the world swallow the secret. Instead, her small voice rose like a scream against fate. Don't get in the car. And that one sentence, trembling, terrified, impossibly brave, was the spark that would tear apart a deadly plot, save a billionaire, expose traitors, and rewrite the story of 3 lives forever. Because courage is not always loud, sometimes it comes from a child in a pink dress holding a toy rabbit, speaking truth no one else dared to hear. The city was alive with the morning's restless heartbeat, glass towers capturing the rising sun like prisms of ambition. Engines hummed, heels clicked across polished marble, and the air carried the scent of expensive cologne mixed with fresh espresso. It was another ordinary day for the corporate elite, a world ruled by ticking clocks and towering egos, but among the sea of tailored suits and brisk strides stood a little girl named Sophie, her pink dress brushed softly against her knees. Her small hand clutched a worn toy rabbit with a button eye. She stayed close to her mother, Clara, who guided her through the crowd with the exhaustion of someone juggling life's burdens in silence. Clara had been awake since dawn. A cancelled babysitter meant Sophie had to accompany her to a quick workplace errand, just one meeting, one signature, then home. Clara apologized repeatedly, smoothing her daughter's cardigan as they entered the corporate plaza. Near the building's entrance waited 3 security guards dressed in immaculate uniforms. Their posture was rigid, their eyes alert, but their hushed tones carried something unsettled. Behind them, a sleek black luxury car gleamed like a predator waiting to pounce. It belonged to Mr. Ling. Self-made. Respected. Feared. A man who had climbed from poverty to global wealth through ruthless strategy and iron discipline. Reporters loved him. Rivals feared him. And no one, absolutely no one, questioned the security around him. No one, except a little girl who knew what she shouldn't. As Clara signed documents with reception, Sophie's attention drifted. She watched the guards closely, the way they stood too stiff, spoke too fast, glanced too often at the car. Attention hung over them like smoke. Then she heard it, Chinese words spoken under their breath. Words she recognized from the phrases her mother taught her at home for fun. A bomb, under the seat. He won't make it past the bridge. The world around her didn't freeze, it sharpened. Every sound, every movement, every breath became painfully clear. Fear surged through her tiny body, but her voice wouldn't come. She stared at the car, trembling. Sophie? Clara knelt beside her. Honey, what's wrong? But Sophie didn't answer. Her mind raced. Her throat tightened. She felt the weight of danger pressing on her chest. Her toy rabbit slipped slightly in her grip, then she saw him, Mr. Ling, strolling toward the car, greeting associates with effortless charm. His life seconds away from ending. Her fear snapped. Don't get in the car, she screamed. The plaza stopped. Dozens of eyes turned. The guards stiffened, their faces draining of color. Clara froze, startled by her daughter's terror. Mr. Ling halted mid-step. Confusion creased his brow. Sophie pointed at the car, her voice cracking, "Please, don't." A moment. A breath. A decision. "Wait," he ordered. His real guards rushed forward, scanning the vehicle. One of the imposters tried to intervene, voice shaking, insisting it was unnecessary. But the lead guard ignored him and pulled open the back door. A faint ticking filled the air, and then chaos. Evacuation alarms blared. People ran. Police stormed the area. Sophie clutched her mother as an officer carried them behind a barrier. Seconds later, the car exploded, fire roared. Shattered metal flew. Smoke swallowed the plaza. The blast ripped through what should have been a routine morning, and would have killed anyone inside, but it didn't, because a 6-year-old had spoken up. The imposters were seized immediately. Investigators unraveled a sophisticated assassination plot, an inside job using a hired shadow security firm. Their goal: eliminate Mr. Ling before he signed a billion-dollar merger. They failed because of a child. Hours later, in a quiet police station office, Mr. Ling sat across from Clara and Sophie. His perfectly pressed suit was smeared with dust. His hands shook slightly, though he hid it as best he could. "She saved my life," he said softly. His voice had lost its power. It carried something raw. Sophie didn't speak. She leaned against her mother, exhausted, eyes swollen from crying. Ling looked at Clara. How did she understand them? "Just small phrases," Clara replied. "I teach her languages for fun." "I never imagined, no one could imagine this," he whispered. His gaze rested on Sophie again. "Thank you," he said quietly, voice breaking. "No one in my world has ever done something like that for me." News channels replayed the explosion. Social media painted Sophie as a hero. But Clara shielded her daughter from the noise. Trauma doesn't heal in headlines. Ling visited often. At first out of gratitude, then out of something deeper he couldn't name. He learned Clara was a widow. Learned how she stretched every paycheck to feed and educate her daughter. Learned Sophie loved languages, puzzles, and stars. For the first time in years, he laughed, really laughed. Sophie filled a void he hadn't known existed. Clara's quiet strength humbled him. He began supporting them discreetly at first, offering safer housing, school resources, and eventually sponsoring a language program in Sophie's name. "This world needs brave children," he said. "Children who understand more than we think." But transforming their lives wasn't about guilt or repayment. It was something else. A heart softening. A man healing. A family forming in the most unexpected way. The three returned to the plaza, the same place where fate screamed through a little girl's trembling voice. The city glowed with morning light. People hurried past, unaware that history had once cracked open here. Ling looked at Sophie. "You didn't just save my life," he said softly. "You reminded me what it means to live it." Sophie smiled shyly and squeezed her mother's hand. Clara's eyes warmed. "Sometimes courage comes from the smallest places." Ling nodded. "And sometimes kindness speaks the loudest." The glass towers shimmered behind them, this time not symbols of power, but of second chances, because bravery, spoken in any language, can change everything, and the smallest voice can rewrite the biggest destinies.